everyone. Welcome to Faith and Yoga at St. Bartholomew's. I'm Dixie. I'm here with my husband Fred, Aaron Porter, and Glenn Gobrecht. And together we bring you Faith and Yoga. Glenn, I'm going to ask you to do our gong. And as we enjoy the vibrations and sounds of that gong, we'll let it fill our body and we will begin. Well, today we are considering the space in between where two things meet, and there's a transition from one to the next. So an example of this would be such as the ocean meeting the shore, or summer trending into fall. Segments of the day do this also. As an example of this would be moving from sleep to waking up. Something as simple as sitting down to standing. Noticing and witnessing these transitions are an important facet of yoga and of our faith and prayer life. It provides a strong baseline to return to when life starts to spin too fast or gets too chaotic for us to manage. So I was just looking around today here, and I picked up one of the Lutheran books. It's called the Lutheran Journal, out here in the vestibule. And this really spoke to me. Make prayer a key rhythm of your life. Luther memorably said, "To be a Christian without prayer is no more possible than to be alive without breathing." Prayer is the centerpiece of the Christian life. It is to be the anchor that affixes our soul before God in reliance upon Him. So what really struck me there as this connecting with yoga is a Christian without prayer is no more possible than to be alive without breathing. And we know how important the breathing and the breath aspect of yoga is. So this really spoke for me today. I was very glad I was able to, I really did stumble upon it and opened it up to page 19 here. No rhyme or reason. I should have started at the very beginning. So I just felt it was meant to be for today. So thinking about your prayer and breathing. And also one more thing to illustrate, actually two more things to illustrate this concept of the transition between. I'm going to ask Fred to come up. Have our circles here, are what we kind of think of as our sacred space, and we use them for plenty of things. But together they're separate. But as time changes, they intersect. And let's hold them here. If you think of Fred's hula hoop or sacred circle coming across towards mine as being summer, and the one I'm holding being fall, mine being bigger, fall's coming, summer's on the way out, and this space in between here is the time we're in right now. A time for breathing, a time for prayer, a time to maybe get your sweater out. Some mornings you're going to need it, some evenings you're going to need it, but a time to notice that this is a time of change for us. So there you go. There's one example. Thank you, Fred. The other example, and I had asked Erin if she would zoom in on my painting today, is a leaf. And it's an example of how color overlaps and changes. The gold color is called Tuscan Sun, and I have my blue or color here, and together, where they meet, it forms a different color. It's a combination of the Tuscan Sun and the other blue color, which I can't think of right now. It has a really nice name.
Is that Caribbean blue?
It could be Caribbean blue. We'll call it Caribbean blue. But this for sure is Tuscan Sun. We'll call this Caribbean blue. And where it intersects, it makes a different color. There's a change there's happening. So just a little illustration. Okay, back to yoga. So I shared with Erin, I didn't have a lot of time to practice a little yoga for myself before I left my home today. So I took a little walk around the church. But to gear us up, let's go around our mat 2 times with an intentional walk Breathing in, slowing down, noticing how it feels, and then when you've done that direction 2 times, reverse it and go the other way around, and I'll meet you there. When you come to the mat, just find yourself in a comfortable position. Put your feet about hip distance apart and just let your feet ground in. Feel the grounding. Let your hands come to the side and open up into mountain position. Now think about your spine. Let's get your spine straightened up. Head is like it's attached to a string from the ceiling, pulling you up and straight just like a mountain. Good job there. Good job. Take a breath in and release it. Breathing out. Now take this right hand only and put it on your heart. And pause here just a moment to know that your heart is there. Your heart's seeing very many changes coming on, and your heart needs the breath as well, the oxygen. So with our hand on our heart, let's take another deep breath in and release it. And you can let that hand come back down. Once again, one more deep breath in and out. We're going to let our hands rise up and stretch up for tall mountain. If you're comfortable, let your hands come back and your back bend back a bit as you gaze up, upwards. Remembering to breathe here as well. Coming back to center. And we're going to do some gentle hip circles with our arms up in the air. You choose your direction, and when you've done about 5, switch and go the other way. We meet in stillness again with our arms up. We're going to stretch the right side a little longer, a little higher. The left side. The right side again, and the left. And now stretch both up again. And once again, we're going to let it come back. And back up again. Take a lean to the right, a gentle lean. Coming back up to the left. Turning back up again. And slowly let your hands come down. And once again, notice that time from your arms being up over your head to them coming down. Notice what that feels like. That little bit of tingling that's going on. And now just give yourself a little shake here and let it shake out. And we're going to work our legs here a little bit. We're going to pick our right leg up Well, actually, we're going to bend our knee and lift our leg up. Foot is flexed and down. And the same with the left. Lift at the knee and down. And another. And then on your own till you've done 4 on each side. And then once again, come back to some stillness. Once again, lift that right leg by bending the knee, foot is flexed, and open it up to the side. Hold, and back. And we're going to do the one leg at a time. So 3 more times, bend at the knee and lift. And open, and back down. Lift, open, and back down. Back down. And one more time. Lift, open, and back down. I was a little wobbly on that for some reason, but if you need to hold on, no problem. So switch over to your left leg. Lift, open. Oh, that's better on that leg. And down. Lift your knee. Open. And back down. Lift, open, and back down. And last time we lift, open, and back down. And this time we're simply going to rise up on our toes, a toe lift. So just rise up and down, up and down. Okay, good. And then just do a little bit of the swish from side to side. Coming to stillness again. With a gentle bend in your knees, we're going to bring our hands down like we're diving off a diving board. Inhale, come up. And swoosh, knock it back behind us. 10 of these. Up. And swoosh. Lift up. And swoosh. Lift up. And swoosh. 4 more. And you can come to stillness, hands to heart center. Taking a moment, noticing anything about yourself. I'm noticing that I have warmed up, and I'm going to just step aside and take my sweater off, and I'll meet you back on the mat. So from here, we're going to continue with our sun salutation. Everyone's here with hands to heart center. We're going to reach up to mountain pose. Bend back. Come back to center. I'm going to turn here. Let yourself slowly come down to a forward fold. Chin is tucked. Head hangs heavy as you slowly let yourself come down. Let your arms be loose at the shoulders. And let them be like egg beaters going around in one direction. And then the other. And just let yourself come to a stillness here in this position. Shaking your head yes, shaking your head no. Place your hands on the mat and let your hands and your hips come to down dog. And you can pedal out your down dog here, stepping forward and back. And once again, doing a little crossover. Get a stretch there in either direction. coming back down and holding your down dog here. Being strong. We're going to have our right knee come to the mat. The left foot comes up with our hands as we do a lunge here. Stretching it out. Option to bring your hands up to your thigh. Seeing how that feels when you change out from that. Option to take this arm out to the side. How does that feel? And then coming back down here. And then letting this leg come back behind us. And we're going to push back up to plank. Lift your toes and come back to plank. And in plank, we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let your knees come to the mat. Toes come to the mat, and let your belly come forward. Taking a moment here to adjust your spine. Little wiggle from side to side. And when you're ready, pretend there's a pebble in front of you and push it and arch your back to lift your torso up. Looking to the right, back to center, and to your left. Back to center, and let yourself come down. From here, once again, we're going to tuck our toes and push back up again into our second down dog. Being strong in our arms. And taking a moment to cross over to each side and back. And this time, the left knee comes to the floor or to the mat, and the right foot comes forward. And once again, stretch it out. An option to put your hand on your thigh. Option to open up to the left. And coming back to the stretch, we're going to tuck the left toes. We'll lift up here. Bring that left foot forward with our right to another forward fold. Again, letting that head and arms hang heavy. And slowly rising up. And taking a moment to let yourself be still here. And then slowly rising those arms up again. Leaning back for a wonderful stretch. Bring your hands to heart center and tuck your chin. Take a deep breath in and down and down. Right, and let your hands come down by your side. Grab a drink of water if you need it. Fred's going to come up and demonstrate a pose. And I'm not going to tell you what the pose is, but once again, it's a pose that you can do for some stillness. And imagine yourself being in a quiet, enjoyable place while doing this pose.
The pose I'm going to demonstrate today is bowed pose and also half bowed pose. So there's two different variations. We'll start out in a seated position. legs out in front of us. And I think we'll start out with half boat first. So you can bring your knees up, feet on the floor, and then gradually lean back, raise your feet up, arms out in front of you. And this is a balancing pose, so you should feel it in your abdominal muscles, your spine, your tailbone or sits bone. And then we'll put the feet back down on the floor. From this pose, we're going to transition and do full boat. So this is a little bit more strenuous, requires a little more balance. And to get into this pose, we'll use our hands behind us initially to prop ourselves. Purpose here, or the direction here that we're going, we're going to bring our feet up, legs straight out in front of us. And then once you're there, your feet should be eye level. Like that. Hands out in front of you. And like I said, this is a harder pose to maintain. You're supposed to hold this for 30 to 60 seconds. As you see, I can't do it. But some of you may be able to. Good job, Glenn. Good job, Aaron. It is difficult. It requires more practice on my part. So there you have it. Half boat and full boat.
Hey, you could stay right down there on the mat. I'm going to bring the soles of our feet together, and thank you, Fred, for that. And yes, Aaron and Glenn both were having an awesome boat pose. So maybe that's the one time that being taller and having longer legs doesn't work out as well for you. It could be.
I think they were too far out in front of me.
Yeah. So, well, whatever. You can feel the effects of it. So soles of feet are together. We're going to bring them in toward us. And let's work that butterfly here. Or cobbler. When you've done about 10, you can just come to stillness. And then we're going to let our feet go out in front of us a bit. And if you feel that you'd like to move your hands down closer to your toes and fold forward and see how that feels for you. We're warmed up, but not quite where we need to be yet, I don't think. It's coming. Taking a breath in here and down. And while we're here, we're going to take our feet and put them flat on the mat on either side. Check our position here, our posture position. Let the right arm come up. Let it go in and around to your ankle. Left arm comes up, goes in and around to the ankle. And this is tortoise pose. And letting yourself straighten up again. If your posture had slouched a little bit, breathing in or out here. This is a very grounding, still pose. Thinking about some things as they change, whether it be standing from sitting, waking from sleeping. And you think of some of your own changes that you see or have experienced. Breathing in here deep and out. And if it feels good, you can let your eyes closed for just a moment. Noticing how your breath connects. How your breath feels different in stillness as it does when you're active. And when you feel ready, letting go of those ankles and bringing your hands back up. And let's do some hip circles with our legs while we're here also. So grab your foot by your arch here and do some hip circles in each direction. And then take the other foot. We're going to transition into a staff position. Usually when we do staff positions, I have your feet out in front of you. Feet are flexed, check your posture, and I have your hands here beside you. Well, today we're going to put our hands behind us and point your fingers to the edge of the mat. That really feels different, doesn't it, than what we're used to. And while we're here, I saw Glenn doing this naturally. Just straighten up your back and bring your shoulders up and back to enjoy the benefits of this and how it feels. It uses different muscles, that's for sure. Taking a deep breath in here and out. And then letting your hands come back to where we normally have them. And once again, just doing a little maneuver of your shoulder and spine just to get comfortable. So, and now check your posture again. We're going to lift our arms up and bend at the waist. Hands, fingertips head toward the toes. Letting yourself deepen into that. As you inhale again, let your arms come up. Exhale, let them come down. Inhale, turn them around. Point those fingertips to the back of your mat. Bring your shoulders and push chest out. Once again, release. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, bend at the waist. See if you go a little farther down the toes this time. And hold for a nice gentle stretch. Let your back go from side to side. And release that. Bend your right knee and bring your leg in towards you. Let your right arm come around that knee and hold it while you inhale. The left arm comes back behind you. Gaze looks over that left shoulder. And then return back. Release that leg down. Bend at the knee, pull the left one in. Left leg comes around. Left arm comes around and holds that knee in place. And bring your right arm back and around and gaze over your right shoulder. Remember that breath. Remember to smile a little. And release. And let that come down. We're going to transition to tabletop. So just swing your knees around here and we'll come to tabletop position. Spread your fingers wide. Be sure arms are over wrists. Legs are hip distance apart. You should be able to look back and not see your toes. And wag your dog here a little bit from side to side. Come to stillness. Take a breath in, belly drops down, gaze looks up for cow. As you exhale, pull that belly button into your spine and let your back arch up. And I'm going to ask you to do 4 more of each in your own time and breath. And once again, this is that little space in between, changing from a cow to a cat. Both poses benefit us, but there's a definite change. And once again, coming to stillness. Let yourself wag your jaw from side to side. Let your toes come together and let yourself melt into a child's pose. Arms are stretched out in front of you. Take a deep breath in and out. And knowing that any time during the practice, if it's not for you, a child's pose is a pose you can go into. Letting your left hand go to the left corner of your mat, grounding in with that left hand, bringing the right hand on top of it. Having a little bit of a curve here as you bend and breathe into this space. Bringing your hands back to the center of the mat. And one more deep breath here as you stretch forward. And then moving that right hand to the right corner of the mat, grounding in, and left hand goes on top as you do a little curve over to that side. Then returning back up into tabletop. As you do a little bit more wagging your dog. And we're going to bring our right kickstand out.